This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV with Chris and Chums. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Pinterest. All you need for everything Leicester City FC. It's Leicester Till I Die TV.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on, you foxes!
Strap yourself in, because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Good evening, fellow Fox fans. I'm not saying I'm nervous, but I've just tried talking over Jerry Taggart and wondered why it wasn't working. How are we feeling? As nervous as me? We're playing for the third time this season, a Brighton side who we've beaten twice. This is Leicester. You know something's going to go wrong, don't you? A team that we've never lost to yet in the Premier League. This is Leicester. You know something's going to go wrong. And a team selection which baffles me again. Is Rodgers picking the team that he thinks is the best team available? Or is he picking a team that, like when he promised Chowdhury that if he didn't leave, it's on loan that he'd play him? Tavares, is he trying to keep him? Is he playing him at the expense of possibly other players? Have we seen enough of Tavares to know? And where's Under? He looks like he's gone underground because he's not even on the bench. Well, we will find out and see what my chat chum colleague Josh thinks about it all. As we say, good evening, Joshua.
Evening, Chris. You all right, pal?
Yeah, not so bad. Like I say, nervous. We played midweek. They didn't. We'll be knackered. They probably won't be. We've not lost to them. And we've beaten them twice out of 3 times this season. It's all going to go wrong, isn't it?
It could potentially be one of them games where that might be the case, mate. To be fair, I can't stand late kickoffs on a Saturday night. I know we haven't been involved in that many, but it's not the kid. You know, you're just waiting all day. Obviously, you want to sort of get your game out of the way, get your result if you can. But it's going to be hard tonight, mate.
I always remember when we first got into the Premier League in the Martin O'Neill years, and we never seemed to win when we were on telly. I mean, obviously, if that was the case now, we'd probably be relegated. But, you know, if we everybody's on it all the time, of course. I mean, you know, we've got this record against Brighton. We beat them earlier in the season. We'll look at that in a second. Drew with them, and this is just the league. You know, we've not lost in the last 5. We've got 2 draws, 3 wins there. And, of course, we got that 93rd minute. Inacho pops up in a sea of 10 defenders and heads in from a corner goal. I can say I just got this feeling this is Leicester. It's going to go wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate. I think you know, the fact that we did play on Wednesday as well, it plays massively into Brighton's favour. You know, we don't give us that much of a rest. It's a tricky one, really. I know Brighton, the form of recent hasn't been great, but the way they play football, they can put a good fight up against anybody, really. So it's hard to call today, mate. And like I say, with the players we've got out, it's going to be hard to predict what the result's going to be for sure.
I mean, I think they've had more shots on target without scoring goals than any team in the league. And we're Leicester. If anybody's not scored for 4 matches, has never scored away from, it's always going to be Leicester that it happens against. Let's look at this team. You've seen the team, I take it, Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, Schmeichel in goal there. Looks like Amartey's at right back.
I sort of looked at it as a back three with Ricardo and Castagna as wing backs. Again, I've said to you before, mate, I do like Amartey, but at right back, he does a job. But I think on Wednesday, especially against Burnley, I mean, maybe we've been a bit too spoiled this season, maybe last season, with expecting our fullbacks to bomb on and support the attack. Amartey just doesn't do that, which is fair enough. You know, he knows his strengths and he plays to it. I'd rather see Amartey in a back three, definitely tonight, rather than at right back. So I'm hoping we do play with wing backs tonight. Fingers crossed.
To be honest with you, that's a formation. I've been sat here, and obviously the team's announced. I'm doing all the artwork and everything for the Facebook and Twitter and for this, and I tried to put the team together, and a back three never occurred to me. When you say it, and to be honest with you, I'm suddenly a little bit happier because Amartey is good in a back three. He's not good as the right back.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And I agree totally. I mean, like I say, against Burnley, he did a job. I thought he was fair. He was fairly solid defensively, but when you're looking for your defenders to sort of get forward and maybe overlap with the wingers and such, he's not a player that does that. Which, like I say, if that he's not really good at that, he's very good at defending. So it's hopefully it is a back three tonight.
He is what he is. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not criticising the guy at all. I mean, he's been laid off for a long time. He's come in, and like everybody else this season, I can criticise individual games, but overall, as a team, everybody stood up to the mark. Let us know, guys, what you think about the team if you're watching. Tony said here, where is Under for tonight? I mean, Under's not even on the bench. And when you look at the bench as well, there's just no attacking options if anything happens to Inacho or Vardy. The nearest thing we've got to anybody that can go forward on that bench. I mean, I don't know Flynn, whether, but I'm just thinking there's only Brighton as an attacking option on that bench.
Well, I read that Under has got injured in training. How true that is, I don't know. Right. I've read it within the last hour or so. This was before the team. This was before the team were announced. So whether it's true or not, I don't know. I imagine. I'm assuming he has picked up or not, because you'd expect him to be on the bench with.
You would, yeah.
There's a lot of youngsters on that bench, and not like you say, all Brighton, the only attacking player available to sit on the bench. So it's hopefully he's injured and he's not just been completely dropped, because then you think, well, what's the point in having him then if he's not even going to make a bench that week? No disrespect to the lads, but so I think he's injured.
In fairness, I will take your superior knowledge on that, but it's even more scary that we are losing a lot of players through injury, but we seem to lose a lot through off-game injuries, so training injuries, warming up injuries. What are we doing? I mean, I get players get injured in the game, and I get obviously sometimes things happen in training, but is it just that there's so many games this season, so thick and fast, and we've had the Europa League as well? Is it just too many games?
I think maybe you're right in saying that there seems to be a lot of training ground injuries and such, but I think there's been with the amount of games played, we have had a lot of in-game injury, in-match injuries as well, and I think I think I read, I can't remember who said it a while ago. One of the players said, with the amount of games that we're having to play, they're not doing as much training, if that makes sense. So they are match fit and ready for game day. So maybe that has a knock-on effect for, obviously training to match days. I can imagine it's totally different. The pace of actually playing a proper game, it's definitely a lot more different to running about training. But
so the injury is now down to not doing enough training.
You don't know. That's it, mate. You just never know. I mean,
what's the excuse today, guys?
The thing is, we this season, I know, a lot of teams have had so many injuries, Liverpool and such, but unfortunately we are a team that's really suffered this season, and it's just one of them things. Unfortunately, it's not going our way, but it can only get better, really, with players to come back.
We'll come on to Tavares in a second, but taking Tavares out of the mix, apart from Brighton, it's probably the strongest team he could put out with what he's got available to him, and we mustn't forget that.
Exactly. It seems like a recurring theme, to be honest with you. Ever since you started the pre-match shows, we discuss injuries all the time, and unfortunately, that's a sign of the times. It's sad, but I think we've only managed to probably put together our strongest 11 maybe 2 or 3 times. There always seems to be someone else picking up injuries here and there. It's just a case of horses for courses, unfortunately. Brendan's got to pick the best players available to him. And like you say, I think it shows just how depleted we are with how inexperienced that bench is. So I don't know. It's tricky. It's hard to say, what they could do different to maybe not pick up so many injuries. But unfortunately, it's just one of them seasons for everybody, I guess.
So taking that it's probably is going to be 3 at the back. I'm glad I have you on, and I know I had you on for a reason, Josh. Which is again what Emma says to Lee most nights. But we'll move on from that. Tavares. I mean, we've not seen enough of him to be overly impressed with him. But it's he's come through now at a time when bigger teams from Portugal, where his parents are from, are starting to sniff around. Is he being picked for the right reasons, or is Rodgers picking a team for the future, if you like? Because he's picking him to say, "Come on, you have got a chance here," rather than you're my best player that I can pick this week.
It might be a case of both, to be honest, because other than Tavares, he looks like he's going to play in that sort of number 10 position. He hasn't really got anybody else available that can play there, really. We tried Yuri, we've tried Yuri there, but I think Brendan and definitely myself, I much prefer him playing a bit deeper and being able to bring the ball out from the back. You can't put Brighton there, really. Under's injured. I suppose he could have played there had he been fit. But other than that, what else can you do, really? I mean, like I say, just look at the bench. You've got nobody that can slot in there. So hopefully, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about the lad. I know he's played a couple of times for us, come off the bench a few games. But it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on tonight, given his first start for us, definitely.
And I mean, I think it's probably the better game for him to do that rather than Burnley, which was always, I think, going to be a more physical game. Let's hope he's as good as his the stories that surround him are making him out to be. I mean, like I say, the 2 Lisbon clubs are supposed to be interested. Like I say, that he is, his family is Portuguese. I think it was Paris Saint-Germain possibly, or Real Madrid. One of those 2 were interested in him as well. So let's hope he proves us wrong. And I must admit, like we say, if we have a look at the bench as well, a couple I've not heard of. There's Bala, obviously I have heard of him. He's been on the bench a couple of times. Has he been on actually the pitch at all?
I can't remember if he might have played a Carabao Cup game. I remember seeing him, and I've said this before. I think I remember seeing him in a few pre-season games for us. I can't remember if it might have been a couple of pre-seasons ago, and he looked good. He looked, he likes to get on the ball. He ain't scared to run it. He ain't scared to run at players. He likes to take players on. So, but other than that, I mean, like I said, we've seen Daley Campbell a few times this season. We know what he's about. Flynn, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what position he plays.
If anybody knows about Flynn, please let us know, because I haven't got any idea about him at all.
I mean, like I say, I suppose sort of these lads are in the match day squads because of how many injuries we picked up. So, but it's at the end of the day, if they're good enough, then why not give them a crack at it? But like you say, I mean, it's hard to see what attacking wise from the bench, if we are in the ship, so to speak, what we're going to do is it's going to be interesting,
to say the least. But let's hope Inacho produces another wonder goal like he did the other night. And credit where credit's due, wasn't it a fantastic goal?
Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. When we scored, my missus was sat next to me, and I think I scared her to death, because it was sort of like, I thought to myself, when indeed he's played the ball over the top, I thought, what's he done that for? And then literally, as soon as it came on to Nacho, and I mean, to be fair to Pope, he's gave him a massive chance to. He's gave him a lot more chance to score than what he should have done had he stayed in a proper position. But what a finish! It were absolutely fantastic. And you know what? I thought Nacho for us against Burnley, I thought he played really, really well, and he deserved that goal. And like you say, he took it unbelievably well. Fantastic. On
better form than Vardy at the moment. Stephen Collins
there. So, yeah.
Roger sees something in Tavares that gives him confidence he can do a job for us. Conviction and energy, that's all we ask. I say he may be the next wonder kid that comes through. Now, this is going to get very confusing, because Rye comes on and says Flint is a left back. That's all I know. And Stephen Collins says Flynn is a central midfielder. So, yeah, get a coin and we'll toss it up. And I would hope he's more of a central mid. Maybe he's an attacking midfielder, because that's something that we're lacking, because we've got a couple of defensive ones there with Chowdhury and Mendy on the bench. But who knows? Who knows? We will find out. No doubt we will find out. If we're winning 4-0 with 20 minutes to go, we might even see him on the pitch.
Yeah, bring him on. Bring him on.
Bring him on. This is the table. We're quite lucky that Man United haven't taken, and I say Man United haven't taken the chances when we've dropped points, only because we've generally played before Man United, so it was up to them to get the win. But it's getting tight over our shoulders, isn't it?
It is, but to me,
But it's tighter than that, in fairness, because I haven't updated it since Chelsea beat Liverpool. So it's actually tighter than that, shows.
It is, but you know what? It sounds stupid, but I'd rather be in the position we are this season, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but I read earlier that we're on the same wins, draws, losses, and points this stage of this season than as was last season as well. Yeah. But I'd rather be in the position we are this season, because I think we put that much pressure on ourselves last year with the point, the points tally we had, and how many points we're ahead of chasing teams. So it's exciting for me, mate. I'd rather have teams 5 or 6 points behind us rather than 12 or so, because then you don't really tend to take your foot off the gas as much, and you think, well, the next game's vital. You want to obviously build a further lead. So it's getting. I mean, like before you know, the season's going to be over. So we need to hopefully, starting tonight, get back in the win column. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Good evening there to FN. I'll just leave that as FN. I'm happy that Kel got another start. You guys know that any foreign names or anything other than Smith, Jones, and White and Brown, and I am really struggling with names, but good to see Kel gets another start again. I think he does. I think, like I say, he deserves it. He is the striker that's on form, and better to be in the position we're in, Josh, than where Brighton are, because they're getting really dragged down into the dogfight, aren't they?
You know what as well. I know, like I say, I'd have said this the other night. They're playing some cracking football, and as I said before, they remind me of us in the Great Escape season. They are, but I think they've got more than enough to stay up. But having said that, stranger things have happened. I think I remember West Ham going down one year about 15 years ago on more than 40 odd points. So it could happen. I can't see it. They're not a team. I don't mind Brighton. Like I say, they play good football. They're very good. They're easy on the eye to watch. It's a tricky one to call tonight. It really is. It's I'm still not made my mind up about what the prediction's going to be.
Have a think about it. Well, we'll just have a quick jingle and we'll be back straight after this.
You are watching and listening to the pre-match show on Leicester Till I Die TV with Chris and Chums.
No pressure, guys, but we've got Brighton and we've got Sheffield United, who are obviously really fighting for their lives. They lost to Southampton today. It looks a lost cause, but then once it becomes a lost cause, you're playing without any pressure, you suddenly start beating teams that you wouldn't have done before. We've then got a cup game. Then the run of easy games that we've had where we should be picking up points is over, because Manchester City aren't going to be the same Manchester City that we beat 5-2 at the Etihad at the start of the season. So Brighton and Sheffield United, we could really do with 6 points from.
Ideally, like you say, with the Man City game coming up, the Man United game is a bit of it's a one-off, really. You want to win because then you're in the semi-finals, but if you lose, you lose. I didn't realise with Man City coming up that soon, to be honest with you. When we beat them earlier in the season 5-2, one of my old school pals, he's a big Man City fan, and I posted the score on my Facebook every single day for a week. To say the way they're come back and bite you on the bum. I know. The way they're playing at the minute, I think, like you say, it's going to come back and bite me on the old proverbial. But we'll wait and see.
Well, if we lose, everybody, it's Josh's fault. He'll come on here with a disguise. He'll come on disguised as Brad with a beard and long hair.
Long hair, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so like I say, I think these games are. So let's have a look, and I'm just looking for it here, and I don't think I pulled it up. So away from home, is that a good sign, a good thing for us? Because obviously we have been playing better away from home, or is it now just no different to another match now?
You know what? At the start of the season, and at the start when you started the pre-match shows up, I've always said that with fans not being there, it don't really make a difference. But I think I can definitely hold my hands up and say I'm wrong this season, because away from home we've been outstanding. Home form's been very much hit or miss. I'm glad tonight's away. Purely for the fact that I think with how many games we've won away from home, it can only be a good omen for us tonight. Fingers crossed. I'm glad it's away from home, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. I hadn't got them up, but I have now. And I just have to drop this into the mix here, that I did get the 1-1 draw score prediction right last time. So with me and the ex-players, I am actually now 6 points clear at the top.
You know what? I got the 1-1 right as well. I went the same as you, didn't I?
You're not in the league at the moment. That's the thing. Steve Walsh said to me when I was 3 points ahead, he said, yeah, but there's a long way to go yet. Like, yes, now there is even a longer time for you, Steve, because I'm 6 points ahead of you now. Again, this could come back and bite me on the bum. But anyway, he's gone 2-1 to Leicester, as indeed have I. Marshy's gone 1-1. I think it's going to be a difficult game. Steve Lynixon, in his defence here, he's gone for 1-0 to Leicester. But in Steve Lynix's defence, as I always say, he hasn't. He's got one right all season. So it's worked out that if he goes for a Leicester loss, then they usually win. So it's a bit of reverse psychology from Steve Lynix there. But so I've gone for a 2-1. What we're going to go for, Josh?
for some reason, I think there's going to be goals. Famous last words.
From a corner.
I think I remember. I get a few games. I think it might have been the Wolves game. I can't remember when I said there'd be goals, and it obviously didn't finish that way. I'm going to go for another draw. I'm going to go for 2 each.
2 each. Ooh, if it's 2 each, then we could end this. I don't know. Could we end the weekend out the top 4? If West Ham win and Chelsea have got 47, I don't know. That could be interesting. We will see. I hope it's not, though. I don't want to be a little bit too much pressure on us, but at least we're not losing. That's the thing. Josh,
exactly. If you can't win, just make sure you don't lose.
Exactly. We're back on Tuesday with special guest ex-Fox Richard Smith, and he and yourself and myself will be talking about the season so far, looking at the highs, the lows. We're 2/3 of the way through the season. We're into the final straight. Tuesday at 7, me, Josh, and Richard Hill looking at Leicester's season and looking at the Premier League in general. So a general football chat there. Enjoy the game as much as you can, mate.
I'll try, buddies. You know what?
I'm right with the score and you're not. But
I know. You know what? I hope I'm wrong. I do hope I'm wrong. But I'm glad we've got a week off because there's been that much football lately. It's frazzled my brain. But fingers crossed for a win tonight, mate.
I know what you mean. And yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have a rest. It will. It will give us a chance to recharge the batteries and the players as well, of course. Thanks for coming on. Let's hope it's not a 1-0 in the 93rd minute again. My heart won't stand that. See you Tuesday night, Josh. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, Chris. Have a good rest of your weekend, pal.
And you, mate. Take care. Bye-bye now.
All right, mate. Bye, buddy.
Thanks to Josh there for joining us. 2-2 he's gone for. 2-1 I've gone for. Ooh, yeah, it's going to be a tight one. I think that's all we're all agreed on. So we'll be back about 45 minutes after the final whistle with the post-match show with me and Josh. Let's hope we're talking about a nice win for Leicester. Fingers crossed. Please, if you're watching on YouTube, or even if you're not watching on YouTube, get onto YouTube. The channel is Leicester Till I Die. We were 1 sub off 400, and we'd like to get to that 400 this weekend. Then we can go on for the next target. I'm sounding a bit like Claudio Ranieri, aren't I? What happened when he did that? So you can also pick us up for all our shows on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Anchor, and Google if you prefer us in podcast form. Guys, please enjoy the match as best you can. Let's hope it's good news for Leicester. Let's hope it's another 3 points. Let's get those Champions League places a little bit more secure. And we will speak. Join us, please, me and Josh, post-match, like I say, at about 45 minutes after the final whistle. See you then. Goodbye now.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.